What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This is Coach Hussein, aka the Militant One here with Fight Camp Eternal. And today is episode 4 of the footwork drill. Okay? So what we're gonna cover today is lateral movement. And not just any old type of lateral movement where we're in our stance, we're going side to side here and side to side here. What we're gonna talk about is lateral movement based on creating space so that if your opponent presses you, you can step out and you can basically, for example, let's just go right into it, okay? No more words. So if I'm here, if my opponent decides to press me, what I can do is I can step out here, and then from here, once I get here, I go into a gallop. So when I'm going into my gallop right here, I can basically regroup. One thing I don't want to do is let my opponent press me whenever they want to, okay? So if I'm here, if they decide to press me, if they come forward, I move out this way, I gallop to my left. Okay, if they decide to press me again, I slip, gallop to my right. Okay, this is what I'm doing. I can also gallop backwards if they come at me. Okay, and then from there, I can just shoot whichever direction I'm going. So what I don't want to do is stay in a stationary spot. Okay, you hear people all the time talk about how fighters are quote unquote runners. Okay, some guys are runners, but then there are guys who use strategy. Everything starts from footwork. I'm not going to stand and bang with somebody just because they want me to bang with them. You fight your own fight. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm not going to do is, if I decide to gallop forward this way and apply that pressure, I can do that. If I decide to come backwards, that's what I'll do. Okay? If I decide to come forward here, and if they decide to come back, I move. See how free-flowing I am, and I'm moving laterally because, don't worry about that. So if I'm moving laterally this way, okay? Because if you're in the ring, you only have but so much space to work with, okay? So I'm not just gonna move just for the sake of moving, and I'm not just gonna stay in the pocket and fight my opponent just cause, okay? Here, I'll move, I'll slip, I'll get out the way, okay? Notice I'm moving laterally. I can switch stance, I can come back this way, okay? I move backwards, I move forward. Okay? And notice how my feet never cross up. Alright? Back here. I gallop again. Everything I'm doing to get out of my opponent's way. I'm not going to stand and fight with my opponent how they see fit. You see, for example, Canelo versus School. Okay? The only problem with what School did was that he didn't let his hands go. But as far as staying on the outside of Canelo, because Canelo had command of the ring the majority of the fight. If your opponent is standing in the middle of the ring, he can go wherever he wants, which means now you're on the outside. So what's the best thing for you to do? One thing you don't want to do is get cornered. If you're back in the corner right here, if I'm stuck right here and I don't know where to go, if he throws his punch, boom, I can move around this way. Okay? Then I can get reset. You know what people like to say? They say Floyd ran a whole lot. But Floyd would throw his hands as well. Floyd would put himself in position to throw hands. He would get himself out of his opponent's position. He would never let himself be forced in a situation he didn't want to be in. How do you keep yourself from being in a position you don't want to be in? It's the footwork. So I can move forward. I can move backwards. I can come here. Okay? I can move here, this way. You understand what I'm saying? So the manner in which I'm moving, everything I'm doing, here, okay? I'm moving here, boom, boom, moving to my pivot. Going back here, I can even pivot off the back foot like in the last video. Boom, I can switch stance, boom, boom. Okay, everything I'm doing, boom, boom, I'll tap, I'll check, boom. Everything I'm doing, I'm moving laterally, okay? I'm utilizing the space around me so that I don't stay stuck and stationary in one spot. This is the purpose of moving around laterally, okay? It's not just about going here, moving step to step, side to side. I'm moving around the world, okay? Around the world basically means the area in which I'm fighting, that's the world me and my opponent are in. Does that make sense? This also could work if you're going against multiple attackers. So whoever comes forward, smack them, get out the way. Okay? I hate to sound like, the Detroit guy from you know, but your footwork is going to get you out of trouble more so than it will get you into trouble, okay? Because what they say about boxing, stick and move, hit and don't get hit, that's for fighting in general. One thing I'm not going to do is cater to what my opponent wants to do. Because here's an important fact. If I cater to what my opponent wants to do, what's the one thing my opponent don't want me doing? Hitting them. I don't care who you are, what type of discipline you learn. Even if you're untrained, one thing you don't want your opponent to do is to hit you. Let me say this again. Let me get up close again. One thing you don't want your opponent to do is hit you. Because look at the breakdown. If your opponent can attack you, they can hit you. If they can hit you, they can hurt you. If they can hurt you, they can injure you or break you. If they can injure you or break you, they can kill you. If they can kill you, that's it. So you eliminate all of that and keep them from doing what? Attacking you. How do you keep them from attacking you? You use footwork. You trying to come towards me? Whoa, cuz. Don't you see this happen on the street? If someone tries to oppress you, you know what you're going to do? You're going to get into a combat stance. Even if you don't know a lick of fighting, what you're going to do? Whoa, 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 whoa. You see what I'm doing? I'm backing up. If they decide to press you close, the closer they get, now I move laterally. Okay? This is what I'm doing. So this is the importance of lateral movement. Stay out of my way.